and welcome to SJ's classes. This is part 3 of my discussions on the poem The Son of Sahyan written by Vailoppilli Sreedhara Menon. Please do watch the earlier episodes before you commence watching this video lesson so that you will have a complete understanding of the poem as well as the poet. As I elaborated in the previous video lessons, this poem is the wild ruminations of an elephant who is at a temple festival. He thinks about the wild, excited life that he had in his earlier days while he used to spend his life at the foothills of Sahyan. Let's read the remaining stanzas of this poem. The plentiful reeds sway in the morning wind, casting shadows along the river bank. So we switch between present and past as we read ahead. We understand that the elephant is ruminating on his childhood days, the good old days when he used to enjoy and experience nature as well as freedom. The plentiful reeds sway in the morning wind. So earlier in the previous stanzas it was night time, and as of now it is morning, and you have numerous reeds. Reeds are particular type of grass. So they sway, they move back and forth in the wind, in the morning wind. Sway in the morning wind, casting shadows along the river bank. So these reeds, as they move back and forth, they create shadows. They throw shadows along the river bank. At the fag end, he sees. He is the elephant. At the fag end means at the last part, at the end. He sees a cluster of tuskers. So that is what he sees. A group of tuskers, elephants, the beauteous offspring of the Sahya ranges. Look at how the group of tuskers is being described. The beauteous offspring, the beautiful children of the Sahya ranges, Sahya mountain ranges. In a trice, he dashes forward, the shackles snap. No, not the shackles, the wicket winds entwined at his feet. So in a trice, so as soon as he sees this image of a cluster of tuskers, what he does is he dashes forward, he moves ahead swiftly, and the shackles snap. We saw that he was chained to the pillars. And as soon as he makes this sudden movement, the chains break. And for the elephant, it was definitely not shackles, it was the wicked vines. The elephant imagines the chains to be vines. Now these chains were, and he believes that these chains are vines that have entwined his feet. He moves ahead, breaking all these fetters or shackles, or as the elephant imagines it, vines. What is this hue and cry? Is it the tumultuous rush of an elephant running amok, or a growing storm? So the narrator of this particular stanza, the speaker in this particular stanza, could either be the elephant or someone who is witnessing all these happenings on the temple premise. What is this hue and cry? Now, what is this loud cry about? Why are people making so much noise? Is it the tumultuous rush? Is it the disorderly rush? Is it the crowd that is making this noise? Or has an elephant gone out of control? Has an elephant run amok? Amok means gone out of control. Or is it symptomatic of a growing storm? So it's either the elephant that is narrating this to us, or we have another speaker. We have a switching happening between speakers. A flood racing the jungle, or the barbaric hunters encircled to rouse the forest, frightening the prey into traps. So the elephant here is confused. Now, is it a flood? Is it the sound of a flood that is ravaging or racing or destroying the forest? Or is it the sound of the barbaric hunters? Barbaric means uncivilized. Uncivilized hunters encircle to rouse the forest, frightening their prey into traps. Or is the sound of hunters trying to force the animals into traps? Do the monkeys somersault on my back? Or the wild flowering boars leap and flee in fright? Or is it the sound of the monkeys somersaulting on my back? Somersault means it's an acrobatic feat in which the feet roll over the head and return. തലകുത്തി മറിയുക എന്നൊക്കെ മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയും. Do the monkeys somersault on my back? Or the wild flowering boars leap and flee in fright? Or is it the sound of the branches being pushed away so that the elephant can move ahead? Do the bushes wail under my feet and the branches bleed as I rip them off? So is does the bushes do the bushes wail? Wail means cry. Uh, do the bushes wail under my feet as I stamp on them? Are they crying? Is it the sound of the bushes wailing under my feet? And the branches bleed as I rip them off. So he questions all these. The elephant questions all these. So are they crying as I stamp on them? And as I rip the branches from the trees, no, do they bleed? So he's making all sorts of questions. Again, we have yet another speaker here in the next stanza. Out, people, if you have some sense, close the gates to the temple. It's now a slaughter ground. So we understand that there is a shift in voices that narrate to us the events. You have the elephant's voice as well as the speaker's. The elephant narrates to us his ruminations, and the speaker the happenings on the temple premise. So as of now, the speaker says, "Out, people, if you have some sense." So if you have some sense left in you, get out of the temple, move out, and close the gates to the temple, because you have an elephant that has run amok, that has gone out of control in the temple premise. Now it's a slaughter ground. Now people might get killed. If you don't move out, it will turn into a slaughter ground. In a moment, the celebrations stopped. The lights went out. Only a stench stays, offending the nose. So, in a moment, the celebration was stopped, the lights were out, and what remained at the temple premise was an offending smell. Stench is an unpleasant odor or smell, and it was causing great displeasure to the nose. When darkness dissolves, did the tiny eyes of the mad elephant imagine a lovely world of his wistful creation? So the speaker ponders as to what actually happened to the elephant. Did he create an imaginary world out of the present scene? Now, was this because of the a carefully thought out creation of the elephant? So the speaker is pondering the reasons as to why the elephant has gone out of control. And what did the elephant dream about? That he states in the next stanza: of a new festive season with cute little elephants, still fond of playful mischief, in spite of the naughty tusks on their faces. The speaker imagines or tries to look into the thoughts of the elephant that has run amok. We saw that in the earlier stanza, and we confront that in this stanza as well. So, was the elephant thinking of a new festive season with cute little elephants? So, was he thinking about his future, or was he thinking about his past? With a thirst that cannot be quenched by the waters of the stream, a thirst for love's potent elixir, with the females emitting lusty scents. Or was he thinking about, the females in his life, the female elephants? And this is a thirst that cannot be quenched, an insatiable thirst that cannot be, quenched. With the thirst that cannot be quenched by the waters of a stream, a thirst for love's potent elixir. Now, elixir is something that can cure all ailments, all ills. So was he, searching for love? Was he thinking about love? In their company, did he gulp the cool intoxication of wild toddy and tear the reeds of jungle sweet as sugarcane? In their company, in the company of the other tuskers or the female elephants, did he gulp? Gulp means swallow. The cool intoxication of wild toddy and tear the reeds of jungle sweet as sugarcane? Did he take wild toddy? And is that why he became, out of control? In the ears of his mate, tender like a forest leaf, did he whisper his heart's desire. In the ears of his mate, this reference is to a sexual partner of the elephant. And the speaker imagines, did he whisper his heart's desire to his mate, to his sexual partner? With his nimble tusk did he tie a chain of love around his beloved's legs, which have never known the agony of shackles. So, with his nimble tusk, nimble means that which moves very quickly. With his nimble tusk did he tie a chain of love around his beloved's legs, which have never known the agony of shackles. So, did he do all these things before he was, before he went out of control, before he ran amok? Who knows? Perhaps the fruit bearing plantains that collapsed hither and thither on the stage set for rituals can the real truth tell? Who knows? So, the speaker ultimately proclaims his helplessness. Now, he cannot actually decipher the actual reason behind the elephant going out of control. Who knows? Perhaps the food-bearing plantains that collapsed hither and thither on the stage set for rituals can the real truth tell. Only perhaps the plantains, the banana tree, which were which collapsed hither and thither, means here and there on the stage, set for rituals can the real truth tell. Perhaps only nature can say the truth. Now I cannot guess the truth. I cannot imagine what the real reason is. Only nature can do that. Surging ahead with the group, did he combat another tusker who challenged him with a heart aflame with desire and rage? So we are looking at other possibilities. Surging ahead with the group, did he combat with another tusker? So did he compete or combat, or did he fight with another tusker who challenged him with a heart aflame with desire and rage? So his heart was flaming with desire and rage. He was experiencing intense desire and rage. And did he attack or fight with another tusker because of this? As the jungle shook in fright, the hearts of his mates swelled with pride, and the baby elephants watched tremulous with panic. As the jungle shook in fright. So the entire jungle seemed to be terrified, seemed to be frightened at this sight. The hearts of his mates swelled with pride. So as his mates saw this particular scene, their hearts filled with pride. And the baby elephants, they watched the scene, trembling or shivering with panic. Did he confront the cudgels of Yaman and the hands of dark death as much as his valor permitted, nourished by the meal of slavery? Did he confront? Confront means face. Did he confront the cudgels of Yemen? Cudgel is the club held by Yemen. Yemen, as you know, is the lord of death and justice in Hindu mythology. So, did he confront his death? That is what the speaker means. Did he confront the cudgels of Yemen and the hands of dark death? As much as his valor permitted, nourished by the meal of slavery. So, did the experience of slavery give him enough courage even to face death? That is what the speaker means here. Into the forehead of the enemy, frothing in mad pride, did his deadly laughter penetrate full length, up to the hilt. Into the forehead of the enemy, frothing in mad pride. So the enemy was filled with madness, mad pride. Did his deadly laughter, so before he made the kill, or before he confronted his enemy, did his deadly laughter penetrate full length? Did his laughter penetrate completely into his enemy? To the hilt means, it's a phrase which means in full or completely. Who knows? Perhaps the bits of granite that fell off the pillars, filling the rear side of the temple, would tell the truth. So, again, the speaker reiterates the idea that perhaps nature alone can say the truth. Only nature can decipher the truth. And earlier it was the plantains, and now he calls or makes a reference to granite and says that perhaps only the bits of granite that fell off the pillars would tell the truth. In the next dawn, the cowardly men, whose courage chilled off in the dark, woke up with a renewed daring. So the next morning, the cowardly men, the men were very cowardly. They were coward, and they are being described as coward because they ran as soon as the elephant ran amok, and somehow they gathered courage, and they woke up with a renewed daring. These men, they were ready to take a risk. A soldier, the vassal of dark death. A soldier, the vassal of dark death means a person who owes allegiance to death. A soldier who has his allegiance to death. And this soldier, this vassal of dark death, climbed up the temple wall and perched on the top. And what this soldier does is, what this person does is that he climbs onto the temple wall, and after that he perches onto the top of the elephant. The man's gun roared. The mad elephant collapsed. So we are nearing the end. The man fires his gun and the elephant collapses, calling out to someone in all helplessness. So as the elephant collapses, he calls out to someone, and that in that call you could hear his helplessness. Did the voice that shook heavens reach the ears of the God of humans? So this is a rhetorical question that is being asked by the speaker. Did the voice that shook heavens? The voice was so huge, loud that it shook the heavens. The speaker is sure that it must have shook the heavens. But did it actually reach the ears of the God of humans? As he reclined in a slumber within the beauteous shrine. So did his voice, which was so much filled with helplessness, did it actually reach the ears of the God of humans as he was put to sleep, as he was killed, as he died in this beautiful shrine, in this beauteous temple? Still, the voice echoed in the heart of Sahyan, unable to endure the pain of his son's tragic plight. So, still the voice echoed. The voice still lingers in the heart of Sahyan. And Sahyan was unable to endure the pain of the loss of this elephant. The pain was not something that could be endured by Sahyan as it lost one of its sons. So this poem is not just about the ruminations of an elephant who is at the temple festival. It's also a record of the freedom that an animal enjoys while it is at his natural habitat. It is also a thought-provoking poem which helps us ponder on the slavery that an animal confronts when it is brought out of its natural setting, natural habitat, when it is introduced in the human habitat. These wild ruminations of the elephant, therefore portrays the happy life that it has or it had when it was in its natural setting. Unfortunately for the elephant in the poem, uh, he gets so involved with his thoughts that he loses touch with the reality. He becomes a victim of his own fantasy, and thus he meets with his end. Thank you so much for being with me. If you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do it. In the next video lesson, I will discuss K. Ayyappa Panikar, who is one of the most important and popular poets in Malayalam literature. Thank you.